Hello, so I'm going to cover an introduction on Google Analytics, probably a part one, as there'll be more parts to it that cover the more advanced areas of it, like linking through to AdWords and so on and so forth. So I'm going to cover Google Analytics. I'm going to set it up on a website from scratch and show how you can start understanding who your visitors are and what they're doing on your website, which is a critical part on the path to understanding and converting visitors to customers. So without further ado, this is a hands-on video, so we're going to crack on, and this is the website which we're going to focus on. You may recognize it from when we set up a website in the length of time it takes to drink a glass of wine, depending on how large your glass was. As you can see, the content is not at all written yet. It is purely a starter for 10. So let's crack on. This is the website. I'm logged in. I'm going to go to Google Analytics, and if you haven't done so, you can create an account. I have one here with various bits and pieces on. It's a fairly new account, so I've only got one site on here at the moment. Sorry, 4 sites on here at the moment. And I'm going to add a new one. So to add a new one, we go to Add Admin, which is this cog down here, and we've got our account, which I've got 1, property of the websites, of which I've got 4 at the moment, and what we see. So it's the property here which I want to create a new one of. Fairly straightforward. It's a website. It is my Decorator King. The address is test.simongoodchild.com. The industry, well, it is going to be business. Oops, this property is invalid. We don't want that in there. Reporting time, I'm in the UK. Click on Get Tracking ID, and that brings us up with this screen, which has got various ways to add this tracking code to your website. This is the easiest way. We're going to copy and paste this into our website, or we could, for example, use the code above to create a new file and include it. Not going to do that. We're going to go ahead and pop this in. This is a WordPress website, and there are plugins which allow you to do this in other ways. I'm going to do it a fairly basic way, probably not the way which you do it on a live website, because I'm going to edit the theme. So I'm going to go to my dashboard here and go into my editor and edit the theme. If you were going to edit the theme, you use child themes, which is a subject for a different video, because if I updated this theme on this website having made the changes, I'll then lose the changes. But the creation of a child theme is something which you can Google for, or perhaps I'll do another video on. But for the sake of expediency, I'm going to edit the existing theme. I've gone into Appearance and Editor, and I'm down here. I've looked for my theme header, which appears at the top of every page which is shown. If I go back to Analytics here, it's telling me to copy and paste this code into every page that you want to track. So I'll copy that, and by editing this theme header file, it's going to be inserted into every page which is displayed. I'm going to put it inside the head section because it's a script, so that's the best place for it to go. And I'm going to put it in the head rather than in the footer, so it's at the top of the page, so it's loaded first. Paste my code that Google Analytics has given me into this head section, and I update the file. And that's it. That will now be shown on every page on the site. You don't see it, but if I was to look at the source of the page, you will see that inside my head file, Central Google, it's in there. Okay, so it's processed by Google Analytics. That will now link my website to Google Analytics, and there's nothing more I need to do. So if I now go to my all website data, and I can go to Decorator King, and I can look at all website data, and it will show me nothing. It's not going to appear immediately. You need to be a little bit patient. Come back the next day and you'll see data starting to flow. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you some data for another website, WP Symposium Pro. This looks like this. This website, and this got the code inserted just like any other website you use Google Analytics for. So these are the stats which it's showing me, and I can't go through every single one of these because quite frankly you will get bored. The best thing is to get some data flowing and then you can start to investigate. But let's have a little quick look at some of the sections which are of interest. We can go into audience and we can go through, and for example we can look at demographics and an overview, which is telling me the age. I can see here that most people are younger. Now this is going to influence me in terms of my writing style and how I'm going to try and convert those visitors into customers. Gender, slightly male, so no particular split there. And interest, which is picking up, quite a lot of people interested in sports and activities there, computers and electronics. Nothing mega significant, so if that one of those was 50%, then obviously I'd consider targeting those particular interests. Age and gender here just shows me the same split. Interests, same thing, which are accessed through these dots here. Geo is, let's click on location. So where most of my traffic coming from? Well, quite clearly they're mostly coming from the United States. Actually, let's go for a longer period of time. Let's go from the 1st of February to today. Okay, so map of the world, definitely United States, UK, Russia, India, Brazil. Why is this important? Well, it would be interesting in terms of language. If I want to know that most people are looking at English, which they quite clearly are, then that's the language I'll focus on. We've got German, Russian, Italian and so on, which I may consider having alternative language pages. At the moment I've got French, Spanish, German and Italian. Well, I'm missing out Russian, so I might consider having a Russian page which can then speak to those visitors and convert them to customers. If I was using adverts, I would also consider perhaps if German was a significant percentage, then I would have a German advert linking through to a German landing page, so I know that I'm speaking in the language of the visitor. Behavior, this is what people are doing in terms of new versus returning. So let's go to month and number of sessions and how many people are new and how many people are returning. So I've got a 1 in 5 people returning, 4 out of 5 are new. Again, it's going to affect the way that I write content, particularly my home page or the landing pages where people are seeing them for the first time. And so on. Frequency, number of sessions. This is something I need to address quite clearly. A number of people are coming once and are not coming back. Maybe if they're coming twice, they're not coming back often at all. It gets larger because I have members. Oops, let me just ignore that. These are people coming back because we have a forum. So I need to address this issue here, and certainly the fact that most people are coming once and then disappearing. Technology, if you're into browsers, mobile. Most people are on desktop, 10% are on mobile, so in terms of design I can make sure that my desktop is spot on, but I mustn't discount 1 in 10 visitors coming on their mobile, and surprisingly quite a small number on their tablet. Users flow, this is a really interesting and requires some study. You can see that people from the United States are going to the home starting pages here, which is the home page, and when they're then going. Discussion is our forum and so on and so forth. If I look at this section, latest activity. That's a big one. So people who are logged in are probably looking at what they've been up to. It's a social community website. I can have a look at United Kingdom, and if I focus on United Kingdom, I can again see that most people are going to the home page. A reasonably significant number of people are going through to a lot of others, and the red bit here is where they're leaving. So from the starting page, I'm actually getting a lot of drop-offs from the home page. So I need to do something about that in terms of engaging them to these other routes where they may want to get discussions or examples. This was a fairly new page, for example, which was added and it's showing a significant number of traffic, and from there a fairly small people there going from starting page to examples to licenses, which is a key page for me because they're interested in buying, but from there they are then dropping off. So I need to have a look at that, and then you can flow through, and in fact you can see the whole path through there if you want to purchase. So this is a fascinating page which you can use to understand how your visitors are progressing through your page, and pages with big drop-offs you want to address. Examples, a lot of people are dropping off there. Now why is that? Are they linking through to other sites in the same browser window or a new browser window? I don't know the answer to that, but certainly something which I'd want to have a look at and find out why examples are putting people off maybe the wrong examples, for example. More detailed bits and pieces, you can see not just the behaviour of people, of how they're going through in the most popular pages, which again I'm going to want to focus on in terms of content and driving through to purchase. I can look at page timing, so the average page load, not happy about that, so I want to find out what's going on there in terms of speeding that up, because 4.48 seconds is longer than I would want as an average. Page timings I can have a look at and see what's going on there in terms of average load time, page views, bounce and so on. So I can, these are fast, but I'd want to look at the slowest ones. The home page particularly, I want to make that particularly fast, so I can have a session on speeding up my website as well. It even gives you some speed suggestions here. What this is doing is looking at the site and giving me some suggestions on how I can speed things up. So let's have a look at these here. It's now analysing the page, and it's going to give me, helpfully for free, tips on how to speed up my page. Now I'm not going to go into these, but enabling compression speeds things up. JavaScript and CSS in above the fold content, so we can move things from the top of the page, which is going to slow down the initial load, to the bottom of the page. And there's some images there which shouldn't be, which are perhaps too large, which need to be optimized for the web. And the mobile, similar sort of thing here, some caching and bits and pieces. So yeah, very useful and quite a lot of work for me there to do, but it will only improve my website. So I will spend some time looking at that. Conversions, this is, I'm going to do in a separate video, how you can link Google Analytics to AdWords, and when you advertise on AdWords, Google Analytics can share its goals. So if a goal is to drive somebody through to a purchase page, you can link that purchase page through to an AdWord, and that way when you spend say $100 on an advert, you can see if you're generating $300 worth of custom, then it's worth spending more on that advert. If you're spending $100 on an advert and there's no conversions, then it's $100 you've wasted. You spend the same amount of money on the advert, whether it's good or bad. If you're not measuring whether the advert's working or not in terms of conversions, then, well, quite clearly you should be. So that's Google Analytics. It's essential. If you've got a website, it's free, it's relatively easy to add to your site. Once it's there, it just goes on collecting data, and it will only give you great feedback, great advice, which you should go ahead and act upon.